So I listed them all here. Who would be able to tell me how iRods actually works? Black magic. Any volunteer? We have a lot of iRods experts in the room, actually. But we can turn this question into a different one. What are the components that you need in order to make iRods work? So what we'd like to do is just list on this whiteboard in the next 5 minutes the components we need to have within some system for this distributed data management to work. Let me,
How do I easily
arrangement.
there we go.
No, that didn't do it. So what I'd like to do is, who can propose a component of the iRods data set? Yes.
Metadata library?
So we have a metadata catalog, yes? Right, what? Almost. This is not dark enough. So there's a metadata catalog. Who has another component?
Data resources?
For the moment, yeah. Then I'll need to turn it back on. Another component?
Data resources?
Pardon me.
Rule base.
A rule base? Another component?
Data, the resources?
So that's something we put onto the data grid, but there's also a storage resource, which we could call a vault. Another component. So I have a storage system that's out there somewhere. I need to put an iRod server in front of that storage system so I can talk to it. Another component, one more.
Some sort of administrative interface.
We need clients, something that's going to allow you to talk to the system. So these are the components that we're integrating when we're trying to manage distributed data. And so the next question is, how do we put those components together? We know what they are. How are they arranged? So here's a storage system over here. Call it disk. Here's a storage system over here. It might be a tape system. What goes on top of the storage system for the data grid to function? Pardon?
The server.
The server, yes. So we put a server, which is a set of software, on top of each storage system. What else goes on top of each storage system? One of the virtues of the iRods data grid is it allows you to enforce management policies at each storage location where you're putting files. So there's also a ruling that has to sit on top of that storage system. And so when we try to access data that's in this environment, we're going through a server that translates to the protocol the system needs, and it works with this ruling to decide what you're allowed to do here. Where does, another component is the metadata catalog. That's where we put all the information about the files that are in this environment, where they're located, who owns them, what their size is, access controls, etc. That metadata catalog has to sit in some version of someone's database. So there's a database here into which we put the metadata. That database could be Postgres or Oracle now. In the future, we'll support other types of databases, hopefully MySQL, SQL Server, DB2, Sybase, Informix, whichever database you want. How do we connect all these components together? So, there's something that links all of this. So we're assuming that we can be linked by a network, TCP/IP-based transport communication across all of these. And then somewhere connected to the network is a client. So last week, we tried installing the Unix client, which were the I commands. And then using those clients, you could connect to an existing data grid that's been installed somewhere in the world. So you're going across the network from your laptop to a data grid which has all of these components, and you, through your client, are managing a collection that you choose to put into this environment, assign attributes to it, control where the data is located, manage replication, etc. Any questions about this? Now's a good time to ask. Okay. So what we did not do last time was actually install the entire data grid. It's possible to install a data grid. It takes me half an hour on my Mac because I have a good build environment. I download the software, run the install script, and it comes up, installs the database, installs the metadata catalog, installs the server, installs the rule engine, installs the clients, and installs all the components. To make life simpler, we have built a data grid for each team. So we have installed an iRODS data grid on a SIL server downstairs. They're called Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, Team 4, et cetera, for the data grids. And part of the class exercise in probably 10 minutes will be having each of the teams log on to this data grid and show that you can access this environment from the clients you installed last time. You can then put files into this collection. We have set up an administrator account so you can actually go in and control the rule base, which we'll do in future sessions, but you will then have the entire environment. You'll have your client on your laptop, and you'll have a data grid that's running on a SIL server downstairs, on which you'll be able to test all of your rules and try out enforcement of the policies that you're going to be developing. Okay. So no questions. Wow. What I'm going to do then is take 10 minutes, go through the homework assignment for the next session, what topics we're going to be discussing, and then in our last 10 minutes, since this is a very